Hey guys, this is Alan and welcome back to the JcrOffroad Garage. Today we're going to install a highly anticipated TJ Fenders. I know we've all seen them, heck maybe even owned a few, but those TJ stock fenders where they've been wrinkled up from hitting too many trees, well these are a great replacement for those. We give you a bigger clearance for larger tires and also side marker provisions in case you want to stay legal. So let's see how these go on. First thing you'll want to do is to pull the lights and the wiring harness. These can just hang for now. Now you're on to removing the flare fasteners with an 8mm wrench and a pair of pliers. Make sure you get all 10 of them. And if you happen to strip out one or two, it's no big deal. Just rip it right off. Now you're going to drill out the 10 spot welds on the outside of the fender. You can find these by looking for the dimples in the sheet metal. You might have to clean up your fenders to find them. We did this using a drill and a 5/16 drill bit. Remember, there's 10 of them. Now you're going to mark off an inch out from the hood fold on your fender. We did this with some tape to mark where our line was. Now if you're like me and had way too much coffee before filming this video, I asked Darryl for a steadier hand. He's using a cut-off wheel and a grinder, but you could use any of your preferred cutting methods. Now you're going to cut along the front of the fender right above the fold. It really doesn't matter too much, just anywhere to get it off. Cut the outer fender just before where the inner fender comes in, straight up to your earlier cut. This is what your cut should look like once you're done. You also need to cut that front corner piece off right about where it meets the grill, as you can see here. I also realized later that this would be a good time to remove this bracket. Pry back the side panel so that you can get to the inner fasteners, and using your 13mm wrench, remove the 4 bolts. You're also going to have to remove the bolts securing the bracket holding the battery tray. These are also 13mm. There are 4 bolts in the wheel well and 6 bolts on the bulkhead. Disconnect the battery and remove it. Still using your 13mm wrench, remove the 4 bolts holding the inner tray. Careful here, there's a pressure sensor you want to make sure you keep. So pull the battery up and here's where it's plugged in. Disconnect the plug and pull it out with the battery tray. Set this aside, you're gonna need it later. Now you can get to the rest of those fasteners that held the battery tray bracket in. There's 6 of them on the inner bulkhead. Try your best to find them all and make sure they're all pulled. These are the last 2 on the inner fender well. Now the bracket should come out. I say should, but you might have to fight with it a little bit. It's a good idea at this time to clean up any bare metal that you have showing. I would also recommend painting it if this is your final install. We didn't do that because we're going to take these back off and repaint them afterwards. Now loosen the 3 mounting bolts holding the grill. You're doing this so that we can get a little bit of play out of that grill when we mount the fenders. This is what it should look like when you're done. Now you're going to install the new battery tray bracket that raises it up. But first you're going to need to unplug the air line to the air box. Install the new battery bracket tray using the stock fasteners. There's only 3 of them this time. Now plug back in the air box. Make sure you plug back in that pressure sensor. Using the new hardware, attach the battery tray to the new bracket. You're going to use a 5/16 wrench for this. Now it's time to install the fenders. Install the 4 rear bolts. Do this loosely. Now install the bottom inner fender bolts. Once all the hardware is in loosely, line up your body panels and tighten down one of the rear bolts. Now you can tighten all of the bolts. Now using that 5/16 drill bit, you're going to drill through the new fender into what's left of the old fender. Using 1/4-inch button heads and flange nuts, install them through the holes you just drilled. If this is your final install, it's recommended you use some RTV so that you can cover up any bare metal left over. Reinstall the factory latch using a 13mm socket. The rear side panels go in now using 1/4-inch hardware. That's it. The TJ fenders are in. So if you did want to run that side marker, you're going to want to pick up a 3/4-inch LED with grommet, preferably yellow. If you want to see how that wires in, check our wiring video that can be found later for basic wiring techniques. And if you have any other questions about this installation, call or email me. That's right, me. What other company says that? Until next time, keep it wheels down.